Hello, girls, guys, or otherwise. This is Rich with your Witchy Book Club series. We're going through the Temple of Shamanic Witchcraft by Christopher Penzak. If you would like to get a copy of your own, there will be an Amazon link down below. However, I do suggest that you go with a local retailer or a local witchy shop, bookstore, whatnot. Um, yeah, I would suggest going there before we go all the way into chapter 5, lesson 1, the worlds of the shaman. I do want to thank our patrons on Patreon. Thank you, Linda and Sophia, for being patrons on Patreon. If you would like to be a patron on Patreon, hit up the link down below. Um, you get early access to these videos, all that good stuff, and it helps support the Christo-Pagan Church that we are starting here on YouTube. Um, Moving on from that, if you would like to support the channel and myself in other ways and get something tangible for your money, then you can hit up the eBay link down below. There is a link. Just posted some new stuff on there. Let me know what you want. And let's see what else. If you don't have the finances to help support this channel, but would like to support it anyway, you can hit the subscribe button right there, hit that bell notification, hit that like or dislike button. It all appeases the algorithmic gods of YouTube. All hail the algorithmic gods of YouTube. Um, and if it is safe for you to do so, consider sharing this on your social media platforms. Without further ado, we're getting into chapter 5, lesson 1, the worlds of the shaman. In our grandest of traditions, um, we're going to read the first sentence and see how it kind of sums up the chapter as a whole. What separates shamans from other magic practitioners is the ability to pierce the veil of spirit and travel into the realms of the gods. Yeah, I can see that. I think it kind of sets up the chapter fairly well. Oh, excuse me. I'm not even cutting that out. Um, but yeah, I don't necessarily completely agree with this. Because I mean, witches can do that. Any magical practitioner can do that. It's that you just have a different name for it. I think we get hung up on the names of things a little too much. And I've even said this to a friend of mine who has witchy tendencies, and she's really into astrology, and I don't know crap about astrology, so I am completely oblivious. Um, but one day she asked me, she's like, "Well, do you know about this?" I'm like, uh, what is it? Because I might know it from a different name. That needs to be something that we start to articulate in the witchy pagan community, because sometimes we just know things by a different name, and it's okay to know things by a different name, just as long as if you recognize that it is known by other names. That one name does not fit all. Sorry, I have an itchy nose. Continue on to page 80 in the printed material. No two people can stand in the exact same place at the exact same time and see the exact same thing. The same holds true for the spirit worlds, giving us rich variety of mythology, ritual, and magic. And I love this because I think that this is something that, as a whole of humanity, we all need to realize that there are different reasons why people approach things in different ways. And sometimes that's because their life experience has told them to take this path instead of that one. Whereas your, life experience told you to take this one instead of that one. That type of thing. Um, there are more. Sorry, I have an itchy foot right now. There are some moral absolutes, more or less, such as uh, don't kill anybody, that type of thing. Now, I think there are some caveats that those need to be recognized with, such as, if they are putting your life in immediate danger, that type of thing. Um, that those types of situations, those are more morally ambiguous times, but there are some moral absolutes, such as, don't harm others. And I think that if we if we understand that there are some moral absolute times, and there are some times where, you know yeah, I wouldn't have made this choice, but it's a choice that works for this person, or the other person, because of their life experience and where they're coming at from it. So yeah, it's I think we need to start recognizing that, for some people that's the right choice for them, and uh, sometimes that might not be the right choice for us, but it is the correct choice for that person in that moment of time. Sorry. Um, let's see. Continuing on to page 81, the cosmic axis manifests as the tree of creation, the world tree, from which all things grow and all things return to feed it. We are all sacred branches on the tree, a part of creation. And I just absolutely love this imagery. I kind of got lost in that whenever I was using the Kindle to read it to me, but I also had my printed version. So I kind of got lost in that imagery while the Kindle was going, and I had to like backtrack and be like, oh, what did I miss? That type of thing. So yeah, I kind of got lost in that imagery. It was wonderful. It was amazing. I completely enjoyed that. Um, there are sometimes whenever you just have a certain way of somebody explaining something, or pointing out something, that then you just like kind of have to sit in that moment. That was one of those times. Um, I want to continue on to page 89, uh, where he writes, the lower world, or underworld, is the realm below and encompasses the realm of the dead. This is the world of the ancestors, and is not to be confused with the Christian concept of hell. The ancestors live peacefully until it is their time to move from that realm to another. Wow. Um, my note on this is, this was and can still be confusing. I think this needs to be something that, when we're explaining the underworld and whatnot, this needs to be something that is completely explained, in and of itself. Uh, that just because there is, let me sit up here a little bit. Just because there is an underworld does not mean that it is the same as hell, and that there is a distinction between those two. One is a place of torment, and the other is just, uh, you know, passing from life and just waiting there until it is, until you're ready to reincarnate, to move on, um, from one realm to another and whatnot. So, yeah, I mean, I don't see, well, I can see how that can be confused with hell, but I don't see how, uh, well, I've already covered hell in a different video. Um, but yeah, I don't see any mythology where, or any other concepts in any mythos, that good people go to one place and bad people go to another. I really don't. I haven't seen it yet. Doesn't mean it's not out there. Just have not seen it yet. And I think I need to research that even more before I go on a definitive. Yeah, I don't think there is a hell. That type of thing. It's something that I would need to research a lot more. But it's something that I'm leaning more and more towards, because all these other cultures, I don't think could get it this wrong. Um, but anyway, we're gonna go ahead and move on to page 94. In some forms of Christian and pre-Christian mysticism rose the idea that the physical world was a prison and true spirituality seeks to escape it. Most shamanic and pagan traditions look at the physical world, at, at nature, as an embodiment of the divine, even though we recognize it as only one aspect of being. Certain Native American traditions view the underworld as a place to be avoided of evil spirits and corruption, though most recognize the balance between the three worlds. Okay, I want to back up to something here. Whoops, I think I just bumped the mic. I want to back up to something here because the first part describes the early Gnostic traditions, and some of those Gnostic beliefs are still something that continue today. Um, this is like one of the things that really um, makes it that I don't want to be a Gnostic. This is one of the things that like just stands in the way of, that yeah, no, I can't fully be on board, even though like everything else that they practice and the belief system and whatnot is quite beautiful to me. Yeah, the thought that the physical world is a prison and true spirituality seeks to escape it. That knowing or discovering this hidden knowledge is a way to escape this physical realm, and that you're just perpetually doomed to be in the physical realm. I don't think it has to be that horrific. I think that living in a matter type of being or a matter type state can be quite enjoyable at times, and I don't think we need to sit there and say that this is a horrible existence and we need to escape it. I think that would just that's not. I don't think that's productive. I don't know. Let me know what you think down below. Most shamanic and pagan traditions look at the physical world, at nature, as an embodiment of the divine. Yes, I can agree with that, even though we recognize it as only one aspect of the being. Yes, I can agree with that. Certain Native American, yeah, the underworld is a place of evil spirits and corruption. Um, yeah, I think that's a common view because of our, uh, and I'm not saying our as in me being First Peoples here, but I think there are a lot of individuals out there that see the underworld as a place of evil spirits and corruption because of the preconceived notions um, of hell through a Christian lens that we have in the United States and across the globe as a whole. So yeah, I think that is something to keep in mind. There is that it's not that way. Because most recognize the balance between the three worlds, and I think there is a balance, and I think the balance is quite beautiful, which we're going to get into here in just a minute. Continuing to page 98, many mystics seek to avoid a relationship with the lower self, focusing on the higher self exclusively, but that is a mistake. The lower self does all the work connecting the higher and middle selves. I found this intriguing and never really thought of it this way. And whenever Christopher Penzak describes it, I am actually quite surprised at this, and I can't believe I've never seen this before or heard this concept before. Um, Continuing on to page 99, um, when you change yourself, your perceptions, feelings, and thoughts, your reality changes. Then the situation takes care of itself, and there's no need to change another or the circumstance of circumstances of the situation. And my note here is this is how I try to uh, to work my spellcraft at the utmost. Whenever I do spellcraft, I usually try to do it that it is something where I am taking away a negative rather than, or adding a positive rather than inflicting pain on a negative situation or something. You let me let me try to put this in an easier way to explain. Say somebody stole something from you and you want to get revenge. Okay. Um, I don't like to do revenge type of spells. So what I might do instead is I might do a spell of justice. You know, I don't want to hurt this person maliciously. I want them to be held accountable for what they did. So, say they stole my car, I would put out, I would call the police, of course, and have a report done and this and that and all the other stuff. And I would do spell work for justice. And then, whenever the guy is brought to justice, or the girl brought, the individual is brought to justice, I want to keep this as gender neutral as possible. Whenever the bad person is brought to justice, that has completed the spell. You didn't hurt anybody, you held somebody accountable for their actions, and you changed the situation. That type of thing is better than, I'm going to put a spell on this, or a curse on this individual so that they drop dead because they stole my car. It's like, no, that you are taking this way out of hand, and need to rethink about this and change the circumstances, change the situation that we find ourselves in. So that was something that I liked to see in print. Um, oh, that sun is nice. It's actually coming through the window and it's lighting me nicely. There I go, trying to make a joke. Excuse me. I do apologize for that. I think I spiked the mic a little too much. And I really don't want to edit any of this out, so it is what it is. How far are we on this? Okay, we still got time. Also on page 99, our past lives contain both a genetic path and a global path, accounting for a variety of reincarnation beliefs. The middle self, or soul, does not reincarnate. It returns to nature as a nature spirit in the middle world. Well-developed middle selves may become guides, teachers, and guardians in the middle world. So each lifetime is a unique blend of 3 selves. And my only note here is that I need to think on this a little bit more before I'm jumping on board of that. I don't want to say that something is completely true, at its face value there. It's something that I'm going to need to meditate on more and think about more and contemplate where exactly everything goes, all that stuff, before I would definitively say anything like that, or within my belief system, this is what would be true for me. I wouldn't want to say that this is true for me until I think about it a lot more than this. Because this is the first time I've ever heard it, and I'm intrigued by it, and I want to follow where I want to follow the ripples of the mind to see where it all leads. So, continuing on to page 110 and into 111. Learning mythology is a matter of respect and energetic bonding. The myths act. Oh, excuse me. The myths act as maps to get the energy of the gods. Okay. Yeah. I think learning mythology is immensely important. And I think that there are certain ways that uh, we can take mythology and we can learn from it. And again, each person is going to learn something different from a mythos. Um, so that's all. That's also interesting. Um, but connecting with that mythos can also help us with our with the way that we interact with other human beings, um, and the way we even the way that we think and believe within our own within our own life. It's hard for me to explain that, but it is immensely important to read mythologies and whatnot. Um, I want to continue on to page 113, trance postures, and I just have a little note here that there are several of these that I cannot do. Lying down on the back, I can do. The Celtic sitting, this is depicted on that one. I can kind of, I guess, do that one. I have sciatica, so not all of this, um, the sitting or standing postures are, necessarily going to be pain free, and yeah, I'm gonna have some barriers to some of this. Um, the cross-legged, the crisscross applesauce, um, the Egyptian sitting, that one is good. Laying down on the side. I was noticing this yesterday while I was laying down, and I get like if my hands or arms are not in the right position, there are nerves that are getting pinched, and it just makes my entire arm fall asleep, and it's not fun. Um, Laying face down, this is actually the way that I prefer to lay down is face down. I don't necessarily cross my legs like this. Excuse me. I do apologize for that. I don't cross my legs like this. I don't put my hands in the same positions, but laying down is a way that I prefer to go to sleep. Especially if I don't have my CPAP mask. Now, if I have that, I'll lay on my back. I don't care, or on my side, depending on how how everything's getting pinched that day. Apparently, standing, again, uh, only for short periods of time. Even sitting like this, my legs are like asleep. Um, I'm kind of sitting with like one leg down, like regular sitting, and then I'm in the overstuffed chair in the dorm or the hotel room. But I brought the overstuffed chair over. There you can see it. Anyway, uh, but I have my other leg up on the chair, and in front of me. It's hard to describe, but anyway, yeah, my one leg is completely asleep. Uh, but yeah, as long as if I'm not standing for long periods of time, again, the little like posture where the arm is at like the 90-degree angle and the other one is straight down, a little odd of a posture to hold, but okay. Uh, lying lying on an angle. Which one was this? I forget this one. Oh, so yeah, you're kind of like you're you're propped up in bed basically. Uh, Laying on an angle or incline such as a hill can help you journey to the upper world. I have not tried this, so I guess basically you're laying like that. Um, I have not tried this. I think that would be cool. Um, I I don't have. I guess if you get like an inversion table, that would be one way to do that. I wouldn't pay the money for an inversion table just to be able to do that. But yeah, if you have one and you use it for its intended purpose, I guess you could prop yourself up like that at an angle and try meditating that way. I don't know. Anyway, squatting definitely not going to happen. Again, between my back and my my sciatica and all that, with the pinching of the sciatic nerve and all that, my legs would go numb, and I just wouldn't be able to get back up easily. Um, and moving on to page 120, this will finish off. This is under the assignments, and I actually would suggest this assignment to, sorry about that, to other people, is to pick a cultural mythology and begin studying it. Shamanic witches tend to be partial to the Celtic or Norse, but choose a culture that suits you. Study the gods, heroes, and creatures of that mythology. You will continue to study this mythology for the coming year. If you have already studied a mythology in detail, expand your horizons and pick another that you feel will be suitable to your shamanic work. Compare how the myths you are familiar with are similar to or different from your new studies. Okay. This I would suggest for anybody to do. Reach outside of your comfort zone of the mythologies that you currently know of or currently immerse yourself in. Delve into a different mythology altogether and experience that. Uh, you know, it would be beneficial in the long run to do something like studying another culture's mythology and whatnot, because then not only do you gain insight into their culture, but you also could potentially, it could potentially hit something in you that's like, hey, I never thought of this before. And it leads you down a different path or different practice, and, see where the ripples take you. But that is all that I have for this this Witchy Book Club series. Let's see, what are we doing on time? Okay, under a half hour, so we're pretty darn good. That has been, what was it, chapter 5, right? I think it was chapter 5. Yeah. Yes, that was chapter 5 of the Temple of Shamanic Witchcraft by Christopher Penczak. Again, link is below for the Amazon link if you would like to get a copy of your own. We will continue on to chapter 6, lesson 2, The World Aside, in 2 weeks' time. So that would be the 10th of September, which I am currently scheduled to be taking a PT test, a physical training test, on that day. And I'm going to, this might be the first one that I actually end up failing because of not being able to breathe very well right now, with regards to the COVID and just, not being able to breathe. I want to get my lungs checked out for that. And all the aches and pains, if they don't go away by then, and I'm not at 100%, and plus I have something going on with my foot that I think it might be plantar fasciitis, not sure, I want to get it checked out. But I have some issues that I need to deal with for that, but I will be back in Dover at that time for the next chapter. So that's an interesting thing about that date. I might have to seek an excusal of a physical training test, which I've never actually had to I've never had to do before. So going on 16 and a half years, almost 17 years now as of March, and I haven't done it once. So I think my track record is pretty darn good. But anyway, that's where I'm going to leave you. Until next time, may you have love, hugs, and ladybugs. Bye.